Hi everybody. Today I'm going on a little adventure in this plane, which is a X-Crafter's Cub, I believe it's called. And I'm going to do some low flying over the Prestwick area. Going to head south along the coast to Turnberry, which I was looking for the other day. There's a famous golf club there. And I didn't see it. Didn't spot it because I was flying too high. I did see an interesting feature in the middle of it, which is apparently an old RAF airbase. And I just did a little dress rehearsal for this flight and successfully landed there. I'm going to try and repeat it now. I didn't want to embarrass myself the first time around. I hope I won't this time. No particular navigation aids that I'm going to use. It's all going to be visual. I don't need these things from the co-pilot. And so I say this is an X-Crafter's Cub. It's ideal for bush flights, which is, I guess this is a bush flight in the Scottish bush. So anyway, here we go. Low flying, maybe 1,200-1,300 feet. We'll be taking off, runway 12, 120 degrees. Going to be turning back the opposite way, about 300 degrees anyway. I'm just going to do it. The trouble with this plane is you can't really see the runway till you get enough lift to raise the tail. By that time it's time to take off. And this is kind of a neat plane because the views are pretty good. And as I say, I'm going to go about try to keep it about 1,000 to 1,200 feet, and it's pretty fast. As you can see, we're already up to like 140 knots, and landing it is kind of fun. So just circling back over the runway, I'm going to go out the opposite direction where I took off. Like that. And we're going to turn to the left. And I'm going to throttle back already and try to keep the plane in some kind of trim. And a little bit of history without any commentary. The reason I wanted to come here was Mike Pence flew into here in 2019 and stayed at his boss's golf club. Mike Pence and his entire Secret Service and whatever other retinue. Make of that what you will. He was here to go to a conference in Glasgow, which is farther north. And of course, Glasgow has a perfectly serviceable airport. He could have just as easily flown there and put up his people at a hotel in Glasgow. I'm sure they have nice hotels. But he came here. And again, you know, make of that whatever you will. Just so happened that his boss at the time owns this resort, Turnberry. And I won't say any more about that. But the plan is, now that I've been through this flight once, a little higher than I want to be. I'm going to go down a little bit. Since I've been through this flight once, is to do it again, because the fun part of it is the old RAF runways are still there, and the golf course was built around them. I'll go down because the countryside is quite nice, and the detail is amazing. This being a simulator, well, there's a golf course right there. Now, of course, what I know about golf is that it was invented here in Scotland, and I guess they all went out in their kilts, and I don't know what they did clan-wise. You know, they had a lot of battles between the various clans. They could have settled them with golf championships, I suppose. That probably never occurred to them. Anyway, this is off the top of my head. So, obviously, I've monkeyed with the weather, because, with the time of day, rather. This is real-time weather. It's kind of leveled off at 1,000 feet, which is really good for sightseeing, which I'm doing a lot of right now. So we're flying southwesterly along the Scottish coast, another golf course, and Turnberry is the other side of that hill over there, and I'm going to skirt it because I don't want to go any higher. Well, the idea is I'm going to go over to Turnberry, circle around, take a nice look at it, and land there, because it has a perfectly serviceable, still serviceable airstrip for this airplane. Again, I'm trying to stay at one altitude level, fly level. Well, let's take a look at this plane. Oh, here we are. Those are my call letters: Alpha, Lima, Oscar, Hotel Alpha, which is Aloha. And wave. Hello. I can't wave. Obviously not a lot of room in there. So, well, seats two. The pilot front and a very nervous passenger behind him. Occasionally you'll see somebody's name back there. What is that? That's somebody else who's flying in the simulator, and that one, well, flying a Dare TPM, which is a really cool plane at about 3,500 feet, and his name is, handle is Maley Millo, and a number. That's his ID on Microsoft Flight Sim, and he's in the sky with us, and nobody else seems to be around. This is not a heavily traffic Flight Sim spot, but directly ahead, that's Turnberry, and you can see there are runways there, and they're unmistakable. And that, from what I've learned, is kind of the typical layout for a military field, in that you have, well, you'll see, a kind of triangular setup, runways going in various directions, I suppose, to take advantage of wind changes, because you want to, as much as possible, take off and land with a headwind going into the wind. So there's, I believe that's the whole. I don't know where the clubhouse is. Come back and look. Let's circle around, and no, I didn't see any golfers. So just fly out and go around and you have a better look. So there are the links. As you can see, they built them right over the runway in certain areas. This is unmistakably an airfield. I'm sure it was RAF. Almost certain. You have to look it up. And over there is where I landed just before this. That's the best runway because it's not interrupted by anything. So this is famous Turnberry golf course. So I don't suppose there's a lot of they're probably golfing here today. It's nice for those who can afford it. I'm gonna land down there, but I'm gonna circle around and just take it in. I think we found the main lodge over here. That looks to be it. Maybe. I wouldn't swear by it. Now, I'm not a golfer, so I don't know how this compares with the golfing we have around here at Pebble Beach or anywhere else. Any golfers among whoever's decides to watch this could tell me if it's what they think of it. But I'm sure this is pretty accurate. I don't think this has much. This is not part of Turnberry over here. Not for the guests. Maybe the worker bees live over here. Folks who serve the meals, clean the rooms, and whatnot. So, again, I don't know how accurate this is as far as the actual buildings, but there seems to be also a little harbor here. You could come in on your yacht and go golfing. I don't fly this plane very much, hardly at all, because it's slow and I usually want to go longer distances and that would take forever. But kind of fun. Should spend more time in it, virtually in it. Okay, so I'm going to try a landing. I hope I don't mess up. If I do, the whole screen's going to go black. Oh, just a warning. That's what happens if you screw up. So we're going to fly what this would be the downwind leg, which is opposite of the way we're going to land over there. Downwind, presumably meaning the wind's with you, and you're going to turn and land going into the wind. I know I sound like I know what I'm talking about. Well, I do know what I'm talking about, but it doesn't mean I could do it. So there's the runway. We're going to turn back towards the not airport and land there. Back in the cockpit. So let's see to land this thing. And I really have to reduce speed. So there's a little trick I learned reading a book about flying called Stick and Rudder, which was literally written for planes that have sticks like that and rudders, which is mushing. You raise the nose, which drops the airspeed, and then you got the speed down. I should reduce the throttle. It's a way of shedding speed. It's also a way to stall out if you're not careful. So I actually had to cut the throttle to next to nothing now. And we're still going over 100 knots, but this plane has flaps, which helps. And as I keep the nose up to keep that runway in proper perspective for landing, the speed will drop as it is. I've learned all this much anyway. So I did this landing once, and I think I can do it again. I do need to add some throttle now, so we don't drop out of the sky. Down a couple 100 feet. Yeah, I want to clip these trees. Cut the throttle a little more. We got a building ahead. Don't want to hit that. More or less centered on the runway. I don't want to hit a car. Look out for the trees. And pull back. We're down. I read somewhere that the way to slow down is to pull back on the stick. And I have to be very careful with the brakes in this thing. Okay, so here we are on the ground at Turnberry. Unexpected visitor in our X-Crap Piper Cub, or whatever you call it. I think I'm going to take off again and fly back to Prestwick. Let's go back to the other end of it. I want to take off the same way I came in. Actually, that's what I wanted to do. So we're just putt-putting along here. I like the way the dirt is kicking up from the wheels. It's quite realistic. A little bit of left brake. And throttle up. And we're up. So, I don't know what the owner of this place would think about this. Probably wouldn't like it very much. Looks like it doesn't really look like a resort there, but it is. Okay, so back to Prestwick. So this is pure flying. I'm not using any instruments. I'm not using any navigational aids. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants, as it were. A little bit of haze, a little weather. I would be in trouble if the fog rolled in, because I would have nothing to go by. And who knows, it could. There's definitely some weather to the north. So there's obviously some weather rolling into Prestwick. It's probably best to get back there before the weather does. Definitely getting foggy. So as I said, this plane has a stick. It has rudder pedals, left and right, and rudder pedals left and right, a stick, and that's it. So it's essentially an early version of a joystick, but it's all by wires. By the way, I once flew in a Piper Cub. I wasn't flying, I was a passenger. And I don't remember how many people we got in, including the pilot, but it was another 3 or 4, all sitting one behind the other. No abreast seating. And it was when I was in the Peace Corps in Liberia. And we had hiked in, it was during training, and we had hiked into a village. And there was a missionary there who had a Piper Cub, who agreed to fly us out to where we could get our ground transportation. I think it was to a gravel airstrip someplace. And that was a kind of thing you only do when you feel immortal, I guess. He had a grass strip, essentially cut out of the jungle, and it dropped away out of sight the direction he was going. The plane would take off, disappear, and then it would come up. We watched it because we weren't in the first one. Between some trees. Well, it worked for him, as far as I know. So there's Prestwick ahead, which I know because I cheat. And I have this sign there. And so there's the airport. In some ways, I think landing at Prestwick was easier than this. And there's the runway I want, I think. So visibility is not so cool right now. It's really gotten hazy. And again, we're pretty high. I'm going to have to come down. So I'm doing the downwind leg, the opposite direction of where I want to land. I don't really need to go too far out, I don't think. We're at 500 feet. Stay about there. So where is that runway? It's kind of lost track of it. I think it's over there, the other side of these buildings. It's a nice long runway for this plane, so I think I can make this work. There's a runway, and it's long, so got a lot of room to screw up, as it were. Except we're only 100 feet now, and I don't like that. Seems like more than that. 150 feet. So, I'm going to try to line up now with the runway, which is left of me. There it is. The hash marks. Yeah. Slow down. So in any other plane, this would be really dicey. I'd be way too high. I'm already... Oh, I'm landing. I'm not landing the way we took off. I'm landing the opposite way. Well, that's fine. Doesn't matter. Runway 30, not 12. That's how much I know. So I've got a lot of room to shed speed. And the idea is to keep a mark in the same place. And I'm going to cut the throttle, pull back, raise the nose. Don't use the brake because you'll tip over. And that's it. The only way to get to the gate is to do it externally like this. That's pretty cool, I have to say. Aloha. I'm gonna park with all the big boys over there. Oh, that would be kind of fun. Why don't we go over there and park over there with all the commercial jets? So this airport can handle, obviously, some major airlines, which is was very important to the management at Turnberry. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to know where I was going unless I could jump out of the plane like this. Looking side to side is kind of hard. Alright, look at these big jets. So, as you can see, Microsoft Flight Sim has all kinds of planes in it. There are some people who fly these jets exclusively. I never do. I don't think they'd be much fun. That's just an excuse because I also don't know how to fly them. Maybe over here. Kind of a hodgepodge of parking here. Look. That's it. I can turn this thing off somehow. There we go. Okay. That's it. 41 minutes flight time. And I'll leave you with my usual, which is good day.